The news and views expressed herein are the sole property of Kenosha Today. Certain portions of this program may be unsuitable for children, sensitive adults, small animals, and the general public. Viewer discretion is advised. What do you think, Scottie? Are we ready for this?
Are we going to record it this week?
Yes, it's recording right now. Well, no,
I know.
we can explain.
We don't have to. All right, go ahead, hit it.
All right.
Well, I'm not a crook.
Good morning, everybody. This is Uncle Scottie Barter along with Elmo the Insane Schneider, and we welcome you to the July 11th edition of the Kenosha Today Saturday Morning Breakfast Club. Again, we are coming to you live and local this morning from our Barter Manor studio, which we will be calling home indefinitely, unless we get a call to go on the road, which seems highly unlikely. You know, our good
Or we get sent to prison.
Hey, I know a guy that could pardon us. Hey, as long as
You know him?
you just lob it right up there. I mean, we are streaming live across the red-hot cornfields of the Midwest and streaming to everyone all around the world. We are brought to you this morning by our major sponsors, Barter's Financial Planning Services, the Union Park Tavern, and a host of other very fine local businesses. As I mentioned, Elmo and I remain committed to the Kenosha area, and we'll continue to broadcast live and local, bringing you the most up-to-date news, weather, sports, and entertainment. I guess our friends in the AM world, when they went down to the mall there, the mall doesn't open till late in the morning and closes early. And
Well, they've got their own entrance. So remember that? They've got their own
I
private
know, but
entrance.
for the employees. But they were hoping, remember, the banking and the people coming and looking
Oh,
through
yeah,
the window
yeah.
and throwing peanuts at you. But again, if you want to watch the replay, you simply don't have to wait for a specific time. Just simply go to Facebook. It's on. You hit that, right?
That's it, yep.
Hit the button and away you go.
Yep.
And we did apologies for a little bit. Are we off a little bit, or is that screen? I guess it's centered.
Close enough for rock and roll.
Yeah. We had a slight technical problem in bringing you the replay on Channel 14 last week, but that's, what are you going to do? YouTube.
Yep, it was a YouTube issue, not a us issue, but we found a workaround, so.
Our phone number, 262, as you can see, 597-3020. It is 80 degrees here in the Kenosha Today Nation this morning. For those that are into the market, closed up, barely 248 points, I should say, closing at 26,075, averaging still over 25,000, almost 26,000. So, as long as it stays there and it doesn't start plunging, everybody's predicting the doom and the gloom. So right now, we're still doing well. So from the pandemic room, let's commute everybody's sentence, Elmo.
That's
Let's
right.
start it. Hey, I came across this little deal here. This is, let's say you were to call 911, right? Mm-hmm. This is what you might get. You've heard some of this, but this, I tweaked it a little bit. Hello, you have reached the 911 emergency call line. No one is here to take your call at this time. However, your call is important to us. This call is also being recorded for training purposes. Due to the defunding of our police department, our menu has changed. Please note the following. If you want to report a robbery or mugging, please dial 1. If you're reporting a domestic dispute, dial 2. If you're reporting a rape, dial 3. If you're reporting a home invasion, dial 4. And if you're reporting a murder, dial 5. For all other crimes, please leave your name and number, and someone will call you back in the order it was received. Your estimated wait time is 7 days. Thank you for calling our newly defunded police department. Have a great day. I thought that
Kind
was
of sounds like the Wisconsin Department of Workforce Development when you try to file an unemployment claim. So,
yeah.
okay.
You can't get through. Although somebody gave me said they got through in like 5 minutes, but it was not the number that was posted. How this individual got the private number, I'm not sure. Anyway, give us a call, 262-597-3020, and talk about anything you want. We'll start with some local stuff. And this is how bad the news is in this town when the number one story is the new citywide trash recycling begins August 24th.
I saw them out yesterday.
And the city's, there's going to be 2, and I misread this, but there's 2 cans or containers. One's a tan one, and one's this blue one. What is it? Or is it got?
They have different colored lids.
Yeah. And what you do is you put the trash in one, and you got to put those in bags, and so you can put, like I thought.
You don't need one giant bag.
Right. I thought that's what you had to have, but these are 96 gallons, so you can put them 3 or 4 bags in this, and then the recyclables aren't bagged, and you put that in the other one, and you have to put this on your apron on your driveway, and the big truck comes along and it's got the side thing and over it goes. So
Now I got a question. What are people going to do with all their garbage cans?
I just throw them on the street. Well, that's an interesting.
Everybody's got garbage cans now. They're of no use anymore.
I've got, I don't think they're 96, but as big as this. But the one I have here is got to be 60. Maybe I'll use it to rake leaves.
Yeah, I can fit a lot of liquor bottles in that. So it's.
Thank God. Thank God they're bringing the 96 ones in.
Yeah.
I don't have to chintz anymore. But all of those, I guess I can still use the same bags I have, right? Even though.
Yep.
Well, the recyclables you don't use.
It's just regular garbage bag. Just throw it in there. Yeah.
But I still have the blue. I'm gonna have one.
Just use them for garbage bags.
Yeah. Okay, because otherwise I'm stuck with the city council. I want you to weigh in on this decision. They decided to fill Alderman Giuliani's, who resigned effective July 1st, to have an appointment. So you have to apply, and the application deadline is July 24th. And so then instead of an election, here we are just a couple months into a 2-year term. So it was my thought that couldn't have cost them that much to have they could have just opened up one ward and maybe 100 people will vote, but at least the people have a say in who's going to appoint this. Now the city council will have that dog and pony show like we set Cy up, and although he did very good, but he unfortunately wasn't meant to be. But I guess if I'm going to be a betting man, Teddy Ruffalo will be the next.
Yeah. Yeah, he was kind of anointed by Pat. So.
Yeah, and I don't. That same concept happened when the mayor of Racine, Dickert, decided he was going to go, and he resigned. So he's in front of his desk. He slides over, and who's right behind him in this video is their new mayor, Corey Mason, and he gets anointed. And the city council go, oh, I guess he's our new guy.
Well, they're all in cahoots together,
Yeah.
so as we've learned from our friends that were on the radio show.
Yeah, and they got some serious problems up there. In fact, that Mason denied a guy one of that grant money because he went to that thing in Madison. Another event in Kenosha that's being nixed, Oktoberfest, Elmo. That's your.
No, that's the Paddock Lake one.
Paddock Lake one.
Yep.
And they haven't decided on the one here. Have they?
Which one here?
The one on the campus.
I have no idea. I've heard nothing about it. So.
Well, that's too bad that something else has to bite the dust. I mean, because they get between 5,000 and 7,000 people, and they were raising money off of this event to raise $100,000 and build a new band shell. Well, like everything else in the world, because of the pandemic, it's put off for another year. Out in Twin Lakes, we don't talk a lot about what goes on usually in the West End, but in Twin Lakes, they have this canine officer, and he is attached to this dog, Rex, apparently the dog's name is. And so he is going to take a new position, and you can't fault him for that because imagine the Twin Lakes Police Department doesn't pay a whole lot. And so he wanted to buy his partner, his dog, and take him with him, and he was going to pay $6,000. And Twin Lakes said no. He's got a. Some study said that Rex.
It was like 18,000, wasn't
Well,
it?
now it got 18, and they started a GoFundMe page. They raised almost 13,000. So they're going to the city of Twin or village of Twin Lakes. They're going to get their 18. But I thought that was a little price gouge. You know.
I don't know.
I just think that that was voted 4-3 to sell a Rex. So he comes up with his 6, and the public raised 13, and I don't know. I didn't quite get that. Here's a nice article, and our buddy Si Costabli's right
At
here.
the Union Park Tavern tonight. The lovely Joe Playstead playing tonight at 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
In the beer garden.
And we're not really picking on Si, but he's got he doesn't look, he looks like he got to prop him up at the weekend at Bernie's here. So I'm sure he plays those bongos and he rips off a couple of good chords.
At least he's not playing the piano there, so that's...
Well, he's a very good piano player.
Yeah, right.
Not a lot of people drinking on a Sunday afternoon, but
You hear him, you will be.
Kenosha was among 5 Wisconsin cities to receive a total of $6 million to fund the 20 elections. What do you think of that? I don't know what they're going to do with this.
Oh, that's to make them, that's to buy masks and hazmat suits and disinfectant and all this other stuff so they can...
Well, where does Wisconsin sit as far as I vote for by absentee ballot, but where do we sit as far as we know we have absentee, but by mail-in, we're not going to be doing that, are we?
Oh, they're still pushing for it, but
Don't we have to get to some point in time where they have to yay or nay?
well, supposedly the Wisconsin Election Commission or whoever the heck they are now, after they had instructed the clerks to send out absentee ballot request form to every registered voter in the state, even those that are dead. So
Well, the government sent out a couple $1 billion to dead people, so
we'll see what happens. But
well, I kind of see that's not so bad. I mean, it's just an application to get an absentee ballot versus some of them that are just saying, here, just vote by mail, right? And some states are going to do that. So
there's way too much opportunity for fraud there. So they've already caught some mailmen like throwing stuff away and
at our production meeting last night, you brought up a very good point. Hypothetically, we assume that Joe Biden is going to be the Democratic nominee, and of course Trump is. Either one, let's say we get to whatever point that is, and the ballots are already printed, and either one of them dies or has a stroke or something.
Yeah, right.
What
happens? We don't know. There's no provision in the Constitution.
Give us a call, and whether you just have to go like it is, or I don't know if it's you win by default, or it'd be kind of tough to say. Well, let's say one of them passes away, and all of a sudden they get more votes than the guy that's still living. So you got to have to. That's an interesting question.
I was going to think it's a forfeit. That's it. That was my.
It could be. I think you still have to go through the election, though. But well, if anybody knows, that's
the
smarter
whole
than us,
thing
call
is
us.
you don't show up. If you can't show up to play the game, you forfeit it.
Yeah.
That was my thing. But
K-Dog gave me this about the number of cases that started back
COVID?
in March and COVID. And I don't know if you can see this, but we start back here in March, and obviously we had a big spike. And then once they closed everything down, you can see we got better and it went down. But then when they started reopening, especially when you throw in Texas, Arizona.
yeah, it's only
Florida.
like 3 places.
Yeah, but it took the whole thing way up, and
They're still doing well here in Wisconsin.
so far, yeah. And in fact, we're doing exceptionally well. There's been I don't understand why we still listen to that Jen Phosphate lady, but I guess, the one in Racine that's went against the state constitution. I think I have that someplace, because I think she's going to be in trouble. She recommended, but Mayor Mason went along with it. So, but the good news is no mask mandate. It's under consideration in Kenosha County. I don't know that we have to make wearing masks a mandate in this county. I see, except for very few places, everybody wearing a mask. I only wear one when I go to the grocery store or the drugstore or the liquor
I
store.
don't even do that.
But most people, I guess, a personal choice. And
To take my father to the doctor this week, so I'll have to wear one then in the doctor's office. But
well, didn't you go to a dentist and
Yeah, I got-
explain how that went? You had to go in for a half hour. How did
well,
it work?
the people come out and then they take your temperature with one of those, things they flash it. It's like a
Just
grocery store scanner that they they shoot at your forehead, and then they said, "Had any symptoms? No. Okay, put the mask on, walk in. They take you right to because they don't want people hanging out in the waiting room, obviously. They take you right to the room where you're going to get worked on, and then you take off your mask, and so it's about 10 seconds. You got it on, and then
Now your daughter's
and then you got to put it on until to leave. So,
she's still working as a hairdresser. Would people still have to wait out in the car?
yep.
Oh, that's going to be
Yeah,
that
same
way
thing
for-
as at the dentist, except
Okay.
I walked to mine. So that's
And Governor Tony Evers says statewide mandate unlikely because he doesn't. Since the Supreme Court back in May ruled to eliminate his safer at home order, he says
Well, it's amazing the way they think, or the liberals think. Well, we were thinking about doing it, but there's a 100% chance they're going to file a lawsuit if I do it, and there's about a 99% chance that I'm going to lose, but I might do it anyway.
Well, he said somewhere in this article, he says, "I'm not sure."
Who cares if it's unconstitutional?
Well, yeah,
so-
well, he says, I don't even know if I have the ability to do that anymore after the state Supreme Court.
Right.
So, oh well. And, there are some states, I think, or some cities that have issued state mandates or mask
well,
mandates.
Dane County has it,
Yeah, in fact,
and Milwaukee is on the verge of approving theirs. So
but is there a sunset date on that, or is that
I don't
just
know.
still somebody decides to? Well, what would a week in the news be without the Trumpster being in the news? The Supreme Court. It was interesting how they said that the issue was getting his tax returns. Well, he said the New York DA can get them, but obviously.
no, he
Congress
didn't.
can't.
He did not say that. The court thing did not say that. Everybody has this wrong. They sent it back to the lower court.
Was that for? I thought that was for the second phase of that.
No, the second one was that Congress could not get them.
Yeah.
The first one was sent back to the lower court, which means their whole object was to get them before the election so that they could leak the stuff out. Now it's back in court, which means they ain't going to get it before the election.
Well, everybody I think made that assumption, but oh well.
So so that's it. So, but they got to start over from square one now. So that's.
Well, what's the point then? I mean, but it went to the Supreme Court, and they waited to the last day to issue this ruling.
No, all they said was that the defense that Trump used was not valid in this thing, and so go back to square one and start over.
Well, I thought this is the first case. The president could not stop New York prosecutors. In the second case, it went.
No, that's wrong. Where is this news article from?
I don't know. Got it from someplace. This is wrong. You're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
It's absolutely wrong.
All right. I don't know about reopening schools.
Business Insight. It's probably taken from the Associated Press or something. So that's
Okay.
everybody. Like I said, everybody had it wrong. That's,
Oh. Well, then everybody.
never believe what's in the news. That's
Well, everybody had. I mean, everybody then had that wrong.
Yep.
Well, how can they be that far off, taking both cases?
because that's what they want to believe.
Oh. Well, I'm just telling you that
Yep.
they. What was this about? We talked about reopening the schools. I guess if Disney World's going to reopen, you should be able to reopen the schools. Now, I understand there's a difference in Florida. In fact, Disney World is going to reopen sometime next week here. But now the people that are working, says some workers are worried. Yeah, that they actually have to work now. And they're worried, everyone excuses because you have, they have a great deal of contact with the public, and Disney World is taking a billions and billions of dollars financial hit there. So So we'll have to see. I'm hoping that somebody can call us and let me know where the city of Kenosha Unified School District is standing on his.
Well, they've been sending out surveys to parents, and everybody, overwhelmingly, they want the schools open as normal.
Well, they should. There's no thing, and if you're, like the twins, Sunrise Sammy and Owen. This is their senior year. They don't want to spend it sitting at home. I mean, yeah, you can get your degree, but part of going to school, I don't care at any age, is the socializing. That's a big aspect of going to school, and this proposed going 2 days on a rotating basis with only 10 students. That's nonsense. I mean, if you can arrange it, and if they have to have everybody wear a mask, I suppose that could very well be. But I hope this Unified School District uses some, and not uses survey for because usually when they have these things, they don't listen to them.
No.
They go against it. That's always when they had the Lakota group. And
Bradford Stadium.
Yeah. Let's have some people on a committee, ad hoc committee, for those that don't recall, the naming of the Bradford Stadium. These 9 people and met for about 9 months, and they came up with Bradford Stadium. No, then all of a sudden it got to the board, and they wanted to go to Olin Arrington Stadium.
Yeah.
Well, it was never a teacher in this district.
Nope.
I mean, like Amici and Jasquith Stadium. I think Jasquith is Amici is out by Trimper, and Jasquith is by Mahone. And then the naming of Ralph Houghton Auditorium at Ruther. Those seem to be no-brainers.
Sense.
That makes sense. Nothing against Olin Arrington, but other than, and so that sent a bad message in this community. And remember when we had the Lakota group that was doing this $300,000 survey for the downtown? And I said, Lakota's Indian for screw 'em taxpayer.
Okay.
And then we had the Urban Land Institute that I referred to as the Bourbon Land Institute.
Right.
And all of that $200,000, it got put on somebody's shelf and collected dust, and they go their own merry way. Don't waste your time and our tax money unless you're going to actually do something. And I believe the last survey I saw, 70% of the people wanted their kids to go back to school. And if you don't, you're perfectly able to keep them at home if you want them. Madison, this is when they talk about no-brainer. Madison City Council members want to ban police from using tear gas, mace, and projectiles. Well, what are you going to fight them with, squirt guns? I mean, Madison has experienced the worst riots in the last couple months. And
I talked to somebody that was up there. They said their downtown area is a disaster. So you won't see pictures of it on TV or anything like that, but it's a real mess. So,
well, you know what? If you can't, these guys, the thugs, the protesters, got AK-47s and AR-15s or whatever they call them. You can't do this and try to keep law and order, in my view, unless you.
Well, we'll see what.
Yeah.
Hey,
Of course, Madison is.
that's what they want to do. See what happens.
The Electoral College, this is another Supreme Court. Is this right or wrong? When they said the Supreme Court voted 9-0 that states have the right to bind their electors, requiring them to support whichever presidential candidate.
Yeah,
wins
that's
the
right.
primary.
They can't go rogue, is what it says.
Right.
If you're an elector, you can't go and, you have to obey the will of the voters. That's it. So you can't decide this on your own.
So if Wisconsin goes for Trump, which they did by 23,000 the last time, whoever those electoral, they have to go, and I think we have 11, I think. I'm not sure on that. But what was somebody thinking of, like you say, going rogue?
Oh, some did the last time around.
Oh, so that's how that ended up in the Supreme Court.
Yeah, they came in. Well, there are a bunch, the states that Hillary won. They were going to go and vote for Bernie, even though Hillary won the state. So,
I see.
that's.
Well, Bernie got screwed out of that whole deal anyway, didn't he?
yeah, that was a
Pretty
setup.
much.
That was a setup from the get-go.
When they had the Democratic convention of that year, and they brought in these I didn't. You understand it better than I do. These
Super delegates.
Super delegates.
Yeah, the thing was
What
already
was,
set.
was that something new, or did they always have these super delegates?
Yeah, the Democrat Party's a private organization. They can set up stuff however they want. So they've kind of got rid of most of that now because there was so much screaming about it.
At any rate, then Facebook is apparently having a new oversight board to fuels the argument of is Facebook considered the First Amendment? And let's compare, let's say the Kenosha News. They run ads, and that's basically they can do whatever they want, right? Now, basically, Facebook is doing that kind of, right?
Well, it's a big thing. Are you a publisher or a provider? If you're
Yeah,
if you're a service provider, you're like the phone company or something like that. Okay, no, we just have the infrastructure and the people can put the content up however they want. But they've started editing it. Okay, you're now a publisher like a newspaper with editorial content on there, which makes you subject to libel suits then. So.
Well, the Zuckerberg, they lost 500 of their biggest advertising customers. When you start losing Nike and Coca-Cola and Ford, that's billions of dollars.
This is for except they want to do it because Facebook is allowing conservative points of view on there. These companies want that off of there. It's not their advertising. So,
well, if they're paying Facebook to advertise, I guess they don't want to advertise them, then they don't.
Well, they don't. That's fine.
It would have a big dent in their.
It's like putting up a poster inside a sewer.
Yeah,
That's all
pretty
Facebook
much.
is.
I get this.
You want to advertise in a sewer? Go right ahead. So that's.
Hi, it's me and my husband Walt having lunch at the Apple Garden, or I don't care about your having lunch or.
Oh, it's got much work. No,
I
there's
know,
all the political stuff. It's much. People are.
Well, if you can get away with it, I guess you do. Because of the pandemic, if you decided to apply for a passport, of which 1.5 million.
What's the point? You can't go anywhere anyway. So
why
all the country's got travel bans. So what the heck are you gonna do?
Yeah, that's a good point. Coming up in I think it's October 1st. You have on your driver's license. I got to go back, by the way, and pay the extra $35. If I want to travel, I have to have this.
Oh no,
federal ID, right?
They just postponed that again.
They did?
Yeah, it's like October 2021 now. So,
it is. Oh,
yep. I just heard that this morning.
Well, that's good because DMV was closed, and so I'm not planning on going anywhere. But if you had just a regular driver's license, you had to have this little for federal traveling purposes, and everybody had. If you were going to get
real ID,
a real ID, that's what it was. Yeah, and I wasn't planning on going anywhere when I renewed my license last year, and I thought, well, they said I had till. Actually, I'd renewed that in 18. I had till this year. Well, I guess I got another year. And if you're looking for your tax refund, this is if you go, where's my refund? We're experiencing delays in processing tax returns due to limited staffing. If you already filed your return, we'll process it in the order it was received. Do not file a second return or call the IRS. It's going to be another couple months. If even if you filed back and they are so far understaffed that. From what it was a year ago, I think they're down close to 40% in bodies. And all the money went to the military. So it's not like
to the military.
Well, that's what I was told, that the money that was budgeted for the IRS, some of it went to the military. And that's why they cut back on the IRS. Talking about unemployment, Republicans call on Tony Evers to use federal funds to speed up the payments. I mean, I got people that filed at the end of March and still haven't gotten anything.
Right. No, they want them to use that money to give loans to these people. That's what it is. And then when they get their employment money, they got to pay it back.
Oh, well, why don't they just do it the right way to begin with?
Well, because there's a reason you can't use that money for unemployment. It's not in the right, pot or whatever. So you can use it to give temporary loans to these people, but then they got to pay it back
create a loan program using.
Right.
So in other words, if you have applied for unemployment, they'll get you this loan and you pay it back when you get your
well,
unemployment.
you'd have to apply for the loan.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's $280 million and remaining federal aid, relief, economic security act. I think we started. There's still 140,000 people that haven't
Yep.
gotten out of 300, almost 400,000. Small Wisconsin city votes to remove Chris Columbus statue. Where's this one? This is up in Madison.
Well, what, Columbus?
Yeah.
It's in Columbia County. It's kind of northeast of Madison. So
Okay.
I've been there before. I rode a camel in Columbus, Wisconsin.
You know what? Well, it sits on.
You should really read these things
I
before you
do.
get on the air.
Well, you see, I got them highlighted. What the hell?
Yeah.
I read them and you still say it's wrong, so it's
Yeah.
fake news. But we have a Chris Columbus statue down on our lakefront, and like you cleverly pointed out, don't worry about the protesters. I'd worry about
Well, yeah.
Colombo. Tony Soprano.
The protesters don't worry about the cops. Worry about Tony Soprano if you do anything like that.
that's on the what you call it. Oh, here was something new. High-tech scamming. This lady's in a grocery store, and here's this picture of this deal here. And it looks like just a regular scanner, and these people come along, and if your purse is sitting, your purse is sitting in your shopping cart, comes along and scans, and it'll scan everything you got in there, from all your ID cards and steals your identity. So she goes just in a short time to pay her bill, and she had 3 credit cards, and none of them were working. And then they cleaned out her bank, and they call this cyber theft. And you were saying that people could go down, sitting at an outside restaurant.
They're just doing it as people go by. That's it. Beep, 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 beep.
So much
Need
for
a metal line purse.
So much for breaking into your house. The drive-in movies are making a return to Kenosha. This makes the old
Oh, yeah.
kind of Kino theater kind of revs up that. But this looks like just a big screen here, as opposed to what the Kino was going to have to do. Spend, I think it was $100,000 to put in a whole new equipment.
Yeah.
Plus, that land was owned by the Mills Company. He wanted to develop it, and I think it's still vacant. I don't think he's put up any.
No, they haven't done
apartments.
anything with it yet. So.
But it sits on what would have been years ago, right on Sheridan Road in 93rd, isn't it? 93rd by.
No, they did this at the UAW.
No, this they did,
Yeah.
but that parcel that Mills owns, at one time when all the businesses were going down there, and they had, what was the, not Shopko, but Tops was down there, wasn't it?
Yeah,
That's
well,
the
that's
county
the county building now. So.
Some sports news. Notre Dame was going to play Wisconsin in Lambeau Field at the end of, or beginning of October. That's gone, and I guess the Big Ten is saying they're only going to play Big Ten games. And
Badgers and Northwestern at Wrigley Field, too. That got moved to.
oh yeah, that's too bad because that would have been. I would have loved
Yeah,
to
it's
see
just a little
Notre
something
Dame.
different.
And
Well, they're still going to play, but they're playing in at Notre Dame.
oh, well, I thought the Big Ten says you're only going to play conference games.
I was told that was moved to.
No, the Big Ten, here, Big Ten conference only schedule. So everybody else that had non-conference games scheduled, which I think probably were about 3 of them. That was always like Michigan would bring in some small Division I school, and I remember it was like Appalachia State one time, because they try to run up the score and improve their record,
Right.
for the ratings at the end. Well, this little Hodonk Division I school beat Michigan in
Yep.
their place.
I remember that,
was a
yep.
couple years ago.
What happened to Wisconsin, too? Western Illinois beat them one year. So that was, it was supposed to be a cream puff game. But nope.
Well, you know what, though? I read where, like, say, Michigan will pay a tremendous sum of money for Appalachian State to come in. That's maybe $100,000 is big-time money to a small
That's right, yep.
athletic player.
Yeah,
Come on in and we'll beat
athletic
you up.
directors like those games.
Yeah,
so.
right. Come in and we'll beat the hell out of you. Except that one didn't work. The NFL, they talk about eliminating the last 2 or the only 2 preseason games, and they're talking about not having fans. I just, I don't know. I think that whole thing is going to be in jeopardy if people start testing positive. And the same with Major League Baseball. That's supposed to start probably within
24th.
Yeah, which is right around the corner.
2
10
weeks.
days, 11 days, 2 weeks. So, and with no fans or very limited fans, and all of a sudden in some cities, some people start testing positive, I think they'll just have to shut that down. I mean, and forget basketball. They're all going to start probably, I think it's next week, in Orlando and just playing what they call in the bubble. No fans. Why bother?
Yep.
I just don't think you're going to get enough television revenue.
Well, you know what it's all about? Gambling.
Well,
You need games to gamble on, and that's where the money is, and that's why they're doing it. So that's it.
Did you tell me that you can't gamble on a presidential election? Is that about? Who was telling me that? Or there was something that
I don't know. Maybe.
No, maybe it wasn't the presidential election. It was something that I thought.
I know they do it. Well, at least in there's you can do it in Europe. I know they did last time as to.
And we're kind of winding down to the bottom. We'll have to have an abbreviated.
Bat Boy.
Yeah, we had this discussion. Bat Boy.
Bat Boy's going to save the world. That's the whole thing. So whatever happened to Bat Boy?
I'm going to come back, save that for next week. Same with this. Earl Pitts was. Earl Pitts.
Wake up, America!
Pitts, American Pitts off. Now, the question I had.
You got to listen to him. He's hilarious.
He's kind of like he's obviously a bigot, right?
It's a comedy bit.
Well, I know. I take it as comedy. He does. But in this whole world of politically correct right now, would guys like Archie Bunker, Fred Sanford, Larry the Cable Guy, could they exist? Those shows exist in this politically. Look at the Redskins. They're going to have to change their name. And you got the Cleveland Indians.
What I told you what my suggestion for the Washington Idiots.
Well,
I think it's very fitting for them. So.
And you've got Atlanta Braves.
They're not going to change. Blackhawks aren't going to change. They came right out and said
really?
that. Yep.
You got to say at some point in time, enough's enough of this business. So, I mean, and if you don't like it, I don't know. It's the Kansas City Chiefs was another one. Man, you could find fault with every name of every pro team, which kind of leads us to the top 10 here, Elmo. Well, I guess nobody's going to call us today. So
yep. It's too nice outside.
Yeah. So I guess if you want to know what the weather is, just look outside. And it's about what we do anyway. But this was, you want to do this? And then we'll close this thing up.
Get my dinger out.
This is written in her home office on the patio here at Barter Manor. This week's top 10 thought-provoking category. Kenosha Today's top 10 politically incorrect name changes. Number 10, the Kenosha Trolley to Joke of the Decade. Number 7, Chris Columbus statues replaced with the Burger King on the lake. Number 8, 50th Street Bridge to the Gateway to Sludge. Number 7, Kenosha City Hall to the Pandemic Nut House. Number 6, Sheridan Road to Hooker Lane. Number 5. I told you about that incident when we talked about last week, about 300. That was frightening. Number 5, Barter Manor to Mount Moron. Number 4, Kingfish Baseball to Queen Comrades. Number 3, the Uptown area to the OK Corral. And number 2, Unified School District to Born to Bag Groceries. And the number 1, and the Kenosha Today's number 1 politically incorrect name change, Uncle Scottie's username from Primetime Stud to Catch and Release.
Uh-oh.
Well, we'll just. You got anything else, Elmo?
Not really.
It's
been
it's
somewhat of a slow news week, so it always is.
I could dig up.
2 weeks around the 4th of July.
I could dig up a whole bunch more of the. I'm kind of sick and tired, to be honest with you, about the pandemic and what's going to close. Everything's going to close, and are we open to?
It's all speculation.
And one thing I will note that Dr. Fauci hasn't talked to the president in 2 months. And they had a task force briefing, and our scarf lady, Dale Evans, was there. But I don't know if it's. I did read, and we talked about this last week. If somebody dies on a ventilator, that hospital gets $39,000. Is that right? About that right?
Well, no. Yeah, I suppose they would be out of it, but if dies of COVID.
It depends on how they died, and everybody's getting thrown.
Or-
Got a lot of death certificates that say
Yeah, that they-
COVID-19. Right? So anyway, I guess that's going to wrap it up for the July 11th edition of the Kenosha Today Saturday Morning Breakfast Club. I want to thank all our sponsors: Barter's Financial Planning Services, the Union Park Tavern, Kenoshans for Open Honest Government, and Charlie B's Kids for Cancer Treatment Foundation. We've been streaming to you live this morning from the Barter Manor studio here at the corner of Happy and What Went Wrong. And to all you who are truly making a difference during this pandemic time of crisis, we sincerely thank you for your efforts and sacrifice, and we owe you all a huge debt of gratitude. And so for Elmo and myself, until we meet again, we thank you for the privilege of your time, and have a safe and pleasant weekend.
You got to stay away from me. Don't you come near me. Please don't touch me with that Her mama always told her that it was very bad. And all the cheesecake salesmen said that he would be glad. Her agent's always smiling. He's the only one who is sad. This media haunting has made me very bad. Next commission. On TV. Really look good to me. Looks like in a couple of weeks you'll be on People magazine. Adolescent dreams. She really doesn't know what it means to be able when you're all over Don't stay away from me. Don't you come near me. Please don't touch me with that. Written by our piano player, Mr. Elmo the Insane.
Well, I'm not a crook.